I'm Oskar Nygren, and this is Imperfect Action. In today's video, we're going to talk about the hidden power behind a belief and how you can use it to your advantage. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell, because I intend to do a video each day. And for all of those who is trying to share their gift with the world and get out there. So with that said, let's get into today's video. And I also want to say a quick thing about yesterday, because I was really not in a good mood then. But doing that, then I feel more empowered to do these videos when I've sort of done my worst, or at least that was what it felt like. So anyway, let's get into the hidden power behind a belief. And I want to start with a story from my life. And when I got into the spiritual reality or learning through my spiritual awakening, before that, or what led up to that, was me feeling incredibly insecure about myself. So I had big trouble with being social with people in social settings, and I struggled a lot with what people are going to think about me, and I had difficulty walking up and showing up like a man with women and all of these things. So I felt really like insecure and not capable about anything, basically. And what I started to see was that I needed to break this spell, and I had no clue how to do it. So long story short, I came across something that was called comfort zone crushing, which basically means that you do something to just get out of your comfort zone. And normally it has to do with social situations, or at least for me, it was that way. So I did something that is called the laying down challenge, which means that I lie down and let other people see me doing that. So I did it in a very big social setting, like in a mall, and people were walking around and looking at me. And as I did those things, I was terrified of doing it, but I knew that I physically needed to do this in order to get past things in my life. And I was doing that for about a minute when I was lying down there, and after a while, or just after a minute, everything went quiet. So all the anxiety, all the thoughts that was in my head just went away. And I had no clue what that all was about, And but I just enjoyed that, because all of a sudden I could lie on the ground and I could wave to someone who was going next to me. And with the result, they becoming flustered, and I didn't move. I just felt very calm and sure. But I was very curious of what had happened. So it took a long time to really figure that out, but it has a lot to do with the emotional quality, and when I observe things and what happens when I am in a specific situation, I'm observing it. And now I'm working as an emotional fitness coach, and one of the key things that I teach those who works with me, the clients, is that to observe an emotion and observe a belief. And what happens when you observe it is that you start to neutralize it. But that's not really the hidden power. The hidden power behind a belief is that you have faith in the story that you're saying to yourself. So it's not faith in the sense of a religious faith. That's not what it is. But faith is felt when you feel certain, true, or that you know something. So any belief is powered by these feelings of certainty, truth, and knowing. And that in itself is what we call faith. And the interesting thing about that is that then you can start detecting what is empowering a belief by simply writing a sentence and then looking at, do you feel it is true, certain, and you know it? And how does that feeling feel? Then you start perhaps realizing, or from this is where the saying comes from, right? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So any belief you have in your life is essentially a belief because you have faith in the idea of it. The idea of it. And that faith is also you agreeing to that being true, right? Your very agreement to that statement is what's causing you to feel certain truth and knowing about it, which makes it into a belief. And you can test this by writing a sentence that you feel is like, oh, that's definitely not true, like monkeys are pink or whatever. And you feel that that is, there's no feeling around it. There's no certainty, there's no truth, there's no knowing. And then you can test another statement. So that, for instance, for me, I had a very big truth that I am a liability to people. I am a liability to others. And that felt really true because it was backed up with a lot of ideas. It was backed up with a lot of proof of how people have been reacting to me. And because there was a lot of proof, I started to sense that that's certain, that is true, and it is a knowing. And because I looked at the world from that perspective, the world started to mirror that to me. But when I figure out what the sentence is, when you figure out what is the thought or the belief in its entirety, and you start to look at it and feel it, and you feel it from the place that you know for a fact that it's not 100% true, then you start sensing how it feels to be certain, truth, and knowing about something that is false. And that's when you start detecting the faith, which essentially is your life force of your attention that is put into this statement. And every time you detect it, the less and less power it has over you. And you can also use your voice or words to induce faith into whatever belief that you feel is affirmative in your life. So instead of that you're saying like, I want to be successful, might be very like, there's not much force to it. But then if you say, I will be successful, there's a certain essence to it, right? There's a certain truth to it. There's a certainty, right? Certainty is faith. And if you go over it and you say, I am successful, well then your mind might look already at the proof. It's like, well, are you or are you not? Depending on what successful means to you. But saying will is an intention, and it is also a sense of certainty. And therefore, it's an enormously powerful word that you can use to induce faith into whatever belief that you're having, that you want to be there, because it enhances the way of life that you're having. So in short, faith is what powers a belief, and it feels like certainty, truth, and knowing, regardless if that belief is negative or it is positive. And when you change your way you look at the world, the things you look at change. So as you change a belief from being detrimental to you, because you disempower it by looking at the certainty, truth, and knowing for a fact, sensing that feeling and just staying with it, you disempower it. And you become aware of where in your life, where have the memories been, where you have detected or you got this filter. And as that decreases, it's so much easier to enhance another type of belief. In that way, it means that you might not need to do these major comfort zone crashing challenges that I did. But for me, it was the what do you call it, the transition into that. And also, when you increase the faith in something that is positive, you start feeling more and more aligned, right? Your emotions become more and more energetic, which means that your mind and your neural pathways start to build into the pattern of your new belief. The more force you are forcing through those neural pathways, through the emotional quality that you're putting in there by your will, the stronger they become, the more automatic they become, and after a while it just becomes a way of being. And that's when the magic happens, because then you're unconsciously competent of thinking in a positive manner, which helps you and everybody around you. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Peace, love, and joy to all of you. Bye for now.